So, I want to talk about how I'm feeling right now because it's a lot of things that are going on in my mind. It's just so hard and so weird to be living in this moment in time and living with the things that I've had to deal with, which have been some of the hardest things to deal with in my life over the past month and a half. I got sick in early March, um, which was like the worst thing and the worst I've ever felt in my life, sickness wise. And then in the middle of that, having my cousin die from the same thing that I was battling, sent me into such a panic and such a, ball of ancient anxiety, you know, um, dealing with trying to get better and dealing with not being able to see my family or, connect with my cousin one last time to say goodbye, and I just found out today she was cremated 3 weeks ago and I had no idea. Nobody told me. Nobody told me what was going on, and I've been thinking like the last couple weeks that she's been sitting in a morgue and on some ice slab in a refrigerator all by herself. And I thought, what does that does to a person's soul? Like, can you move on if your people haven't claimed you yet? You know, and it just bothered me to think that like her spirit could be trapped somewhere. And I don't even know if I believe all of that, but like, it was my anxiety was telling me that, you know, and on top of everything, having to, you know, go to work every day and like try to get back to some sense of normalcy and stuff. Like, the last couple of weeks, like, I've shared my frustrations, I've shared my fears and everything like that, but like, I also went back to like joking and stuff like that, and posting memes and everything like that, and like, enjoying my children. I love watching them grow up, I love playing with them and all that stuff, and like, sometimes I feel guilty about that because sometimes I feel like, she's never gonna get to experience that. Alexis is never gonna have the joy of like having her own child and bringing them home and loving them. And she would have been a great mom. She would have been an awesome mom. She was an awesome cousin. She was an awesome niece. She was an awesome sister. She was an awesome godmother. She was just a genuinely good person. Like, there's very few people like that in this world, and like, my cousin was one of them. And I miss her so much, and I didn't even realize how much I missed her until she was gone. We started connecting again, like, over last year and stuff. Like, we've always been close and we've stayed close throughout the years, but like, she had lived in a different state for so long, and like, every time she would come into town, I would go see her. I would drive out, we would go meet and like visit my grandma and stuff, but we didn't talk on the phone that much. We you know we just communicated through like social media and the occasional text and stuff like that. But like, something happened last summer. She came out to visit my grandma. She came out for her high school reunion, and we both went to visit my grandma. And at my grandma's house, like, we were hanging out, and I was talking to her, and I asked her, I was just like, yo, I really miss you, man. Like, I really wish you was back up this way. I wish we could see you more. And I just like realized how much like I missed her, and just have missed having a cousin, like a cousin. I mean, I have lots of cousins, so, but like, she was my cousin. She was my closest cousin. You know what I'm saying? Like, growing up, we were like always together. She would come visit my uncle on the weekends, and she would spend at least one of those nights spending a night at my house, and we were like watch movies, have fun and just talk like late into the night. And she was always my little roommate when grandma would take us to the Poconos. We would go, and me and Lex always stayed in the loft. And when my grandma got her own house in the Poconos, and that's where we would sleep for the 2 weeks that we were up there. Ooh. Yeah. It feels good to talk. It feels good to just like let it out and just have it out there, because I didn't get away to memorialize her. I didn't get to like help plan a service for her. I didn't even know she was cremated until 3 weeks after it happened. So like, I feel like maybe this can be my thing. This is the way I let her go and let her say goodbye. The only way I know how is to just talk about it and get it out. Because just because you hold it inside doesn't mean that you are healing. It means that, you're burying your trauma. You're not really dealing with it. So like, I'm okay feeling all the emotions that I feel. I'm okay being sad. I'm okay crying. And because I know it's not going to last forever. It's not going to, I'm not always going to feel those way. Like, I'm always going to miss her and I'm always going to love her. And I'm always going to be angry that she was taken from me and taken from our family so soon, way before her time. Like, I think about it, we were supposed to grow old together, man. Like, we were supposed to look back at, like, our kids and, talk about how much they were like us when we were little. And, I don't know, man, we just, like, we were supposed to be, like, our parents, what I'm saying? Like, live in the same neighborhood, visit each other often. Even if we didn't live in the same neighborhood or live, in the same city, we were still gonna, like, make a commitment to each other to see each other more often, and she really held to that too. She came in October for Sean's birthday party. She just flew in for the weekend. She flew in Friday and she flew out Sunday just to be there for his birthday, his first birthday party, and she loved him so much. And we had just gotten her on the video app that we use to video chat, and I really wanted Sean to like know her face so that when she did come to visit, that he could like recognize her. He knew, like, that's my godmother, that's my madrina. So we want to start FaceTiming and talking on the phone more often. And we got to talk to her once on the FaceTime right before we both got sick. It was the day after my grandma's 95th birthday. And I called her up on Duo because I had just got her to hook it up on her phone the day before. And I called her on Duo. And she was at her girlfriend's house, and Sean, I got Sean on there, and we were talking to her and like laughing and just talking about how good it was to see each other and like how much we loved each other and stuff. And I'm glad that like that was like one of the last face-to-face conversations that I had with her, because she knew how much I loved her. She knew how much my kids loved her, and they got to know how much she loved them, because she loved them so much, especially Sean. She was always asking about him. She was always like, oh, how's my baby? How's my Shawnee? I would send her pictures, like random pictures of him sleeping, and just tell her like how rambunctious he is being. And I was like, oh, I'm so glad that he's sleeping now, because he was running me ragged today. And she would always say, oh man, cousin, I wish I lived closer. I would come and get them, and I would give you a break. And I said, Alex, you're probably like one of the few people that, because like everybody has said that, right? Like so many people, when you become a parent, they're like, oh, I can't wait to babysit, but as soon as the kid is here, like, it's like crickets, like nobody's around. But she's one of the people that, like, I know she would have genuinely helped me out, and she would have genuinely, if she was given the chance, like, you know, help to give me a break, or like come and help me out when things were getting really, really rough. And that's like the hard part about having like your favorite cousin, your best friend, live so far away, especially when you have kids. Because like they're never gonna get to know her in the way that I knew her, in the way that I loved her. And it's sad because like she was such a big part of my life. She was a big part of me. She was a big part of who I am. And you know, she'll never get. My kids will never get to know her in that way, in that same way. And that makes me sad because like how is it that my kids don't know somebody who was such a big part of my life? How is that even possible? It doesn't make any sense to me. I can't wrap my head around it. She's and then like on top of all of this, there's this like looming larger issue, this looming larger thing to be afraid of and be like anxious about. Like, the world as we know it is like forever changed because of this virus, right? And America's never in recent history had to deal with something to this magnitude as far as like restricting, our movements and stuff like that. And we just never had the experience of this. Like, this is like, living in like Aleppo or something like that. Like, it's not bombs that you're fearing, but you're fearing this virus, and you're feeling that you might get killed by this virus and stuff like that. And for Black people, it's even more real because we're we're like 5 times more likely to die from it than the next man. Because of medical neglect and just the way that we treat people of color and Black people, especially in this country. So like on top of worrying about if my lung function will ever be what it was before, worrying about like what this virus did to my body, worrying about and mourning my cousin, and worrying about my kids. Shawnee had 102 fever today, and it like completely took me out. It like shook me to my core, and like I couldn't believe it. I was like, no, not my baby. Like, I was so scared. I was on the phone. I was like so anxious, and I called my parents right away, just to like see them and like assure me that like maybe things were gonna be okay. And I talked to the doctor, and like she made me feel a little bit better because the only symptom he has right now is the fever. And at his age, with teething and all the other stuff that he got, kids like that get going on, it could be anything. But like it freaked me out because like it's still like very new in my memory that how it felt, and I don't want him to feel like that. And like I'm always so scared when like little ones like that get sick, because he can't like communicate what's wrong with him. He can't communicate his symptoms and how he's feeling and stuff like that. And it scares me because like if he can't breathe or he's having trouble breathing, like how would I know that? Like how would I be able to tell? Would I be able to tell in time? So it's just scary to have a baby and have a baby be sick like that. So I didn't want to, I got very anxious and I got very scared about that. But I gave him some Tylenol, and like probably like 40 minutes later he was up and wreaking havoc again. So I felt a little bit better. But I know with this virus, it can be, you can be feel like oh, I'm finally getting better, and then you can go right back down like that following night. So like I'm optimistic, but like I'm still very vigilant and watching out, and making sure that he's good, and if he needs emergency medical help, then definitely go. Yeah. So I don't know what this is, but honestly, it felt therapeutic to do it, and it felt good to get it out and just talk it out.